Good evening and welcome to S24 Insight. This evening, we're not starting from a single story, we're starting from a pattern in the way Africa is described, a pattern in the way Nigeria is interpreted, and a pattern in how identity, media, and technology are shaping perception and reality. From the language of tribe and ethnic tension to outdated images of a dark continent, to latest topics around scams, fraud, and cybercrime, Africa is still too often defined by narrow frames. But these frames find a way to dent image. Research from Africa No Filter shows that stereotypical narratives about Africa cost the continent an estimated $4.2 billion annually in increased borrowing costs driven by perceived risks, not just actual data. At the same time, Interpol reports that cybercrime now accounts for over 30% of reported crime in parts of Western and Eastern Africa, raising serious questions about governance, trust, and digital accountability. So this evening, we will ask, who defines Africa's story? What does that story cost us? And how do we tell it better without denying our realities? Joining us this evening is Dr. Tunde Hassan, a veteran Nigerian journalist and technical expert with deep insight at the intersection of media, systems, and public trust. Welcome to S24 Insight, Dr. Mahmood.
Thank you very much. It's nice being here.
I'm so glad that I'm doing this with you for the first time as a senior colleague, as someone I look up to, and to be able to dissect what this means for us. So we'll start with the frame, trust, maybe word into this. The word tribe, its original meaning was simply a social grouping it is, but today it carries political and emotional weight. What really changed for us from the beginning, if you take it back at the lens before maybe colonial era, before colonial era, and post-colonialism? Now, what people describe as new colonialism.
Okay. Let's put it this way. For so long, we'll be talking about tribe. But so many of us do not really understand that the very use of the word tribe is to denigrate Africa, is to denigrate the global South. Let me put it that way. I think so many people are not conscious of the fact that it's a labeling to make you feel bad about yourself, to make you feel low about yourself, to make you feel inadequate about yourself. If you take the contextual meaning of the very word, the word tribe, from its very source, received pronunciation, that's Southeast England. I challenge you. Look at the dictionary. The word tribe, in its original meaning, not just connotation, refers to a band of animals, especially monkeys.
A band of
animals, especially monkeys. That's one of the meanings of the word tribe. Then let's put the question further. Have you ever heard them say the English tribe?
No.
The French tribe?
No.
The Italian tribe? No. The Belgian tribe?
No.
The Russian tribe?
Never.
The German tribe? Are they not ethnic,
nationalities?
Social constructs.
They are.
Because the very use of the word is basically social construct. We're all human beings to start with. Our locations, our environment, our choices, our ideology, our philosophy drive us to looking for something to identify ourselves with. And for others also identify us by. The we versus you kind of arrangement. So practically everybody around this world have one language variant or the other. Take the whole of Europe. Europe is an ethnic-based society. If you take UK, UK on its own, you have the Welsh, you have the Irish, you have the Scots, you have the English. Why are they not tribes? Why is it that the word tribe is used with reference to African societies?
Or the global South.
Or the global South. You refer to Indians as Indian tribes. You go to the Amazons, you have tribes there. Why is it about the global South? because they need to make you feel bad about yourself. From their own framing, they already see you as beneath them. They see you as lowly in terms of you're human, but a lower human. And they want to push that. Sadly, by our history of colonialism, they gained an edge over us. They dominated, they subjugated, they exploited, and they subdued us along every consideration. Ethnic lines, religious lines, economic lines. They even they monetized our economy. They changed our perception of our social, how we see ourselves in terms of our social identities, how we relate with one another, how we see them, which is more important to them. We must see them as superior to us. And for them to make us see them as superior, when I say them, I'm talking about the Caucasian race, for instance, who came in, colonized, subjugated, and continue to subjugate, what you call neocolonialism. In fact, it's even being redefined now. So keeping us within that bracket, or that construct, has led to the deepening of this denigration, this tribal thing. Unfortunately, we sustained it for them. We've sustained it for them, because the strongest weapon they've used through time and ages is language. It's language. The language in which you think is a language. The language you speak is a language in which you think. And the language in which you think is a language in which you act. So you find a lot of us wanting to speak like them. And when you speak...
We're not exempted, myself and you.
Yes. Unfortunately, we're victims of the situation. And then we've also perpetuated it. We speak like them, then want to think like them, and therefore act like them. But you can never be who you are not originally.
That's true. Let's move to the next question. When Nigerian stories are reported, especially conflict stories, we often see labels like ethnic clash or tribal tension. Are these accurate descriptions, or we've internalized them?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's put something on the table. The media is perception capital. It builds perception about who you are. So who is framing it for you? Who is curating that perception? Whoever curates it controls it. Unfortunately, we've lost the reign of curating it. And we've allowed ourselves to be within that bracket of receivers of that frame, not framers of it, not curators of it, not creators of it.
So
and therefore you are not controlling it.
So what can
we need to reverse it. One, understand that who you are is best described by you, not by another person. You shouldn't see yourself from the lens created by other people. And a ready example is this. We equate westernization for civilization. There's an absolute line, parallel line between being Western and being civilized. Civilization is not how do I put it? It's not the exclusive preserve of people in the northern hemisphere of the world. It's not exclusive to people who speak English, for instance. Take algebra. Today, the computing world, they never originated it. The money we are using, they never originated. China originated paper money. I hope you know that. The algebra that everybody is using that has been scaled up and cascaded into computing today was never a Western creation, was never originated by them. It was originated in Asia. The Persians, for instance, Iranians, and the rest of them originated algebra, not the Oyibo man. For instance, I give you a ready, and it's very painful to me. Go across Africa at the very tender age when you are being exposed to learning, to education, to gaining ideas, developing ideas, having an understanding of your society. The first thing you're told across Nigeria and most of African societies, you learn the alphabets. Yeah. And like I've always argued, A to Z. Once you can identify the A to Z, you know everything in English. But speaking English does not necessarily mean that you're intelligent. Most African languages are tonal. You get a meaning from the tones that you use. But you are in school, kindergarten, and the first thing they tell you is A for apple. Why is it A for apple? You make that child struggle, because in those villages, they don't have that apple. You make him struggle to understand what is apple in the first place. So you are tasking his brain to imagine what apple is before understanding what you want to use that apple for. Why is it not A for akara? Why is it not K for kose, for instance? Why are we not, or why is it not E for eba?
Why is it not A for akamu?
Why is it not A for akamu? They can relate with that, and therefore they can run with it. I've been to Finland. In Finland, Finland leads the world in smart education. I hope you know that.
Yeah, I think I read something about that.
No child in Finland learns any other language apart from
Finnish.
Apart from Finnish, up to secondary school level. So they're able
I think same with the China.
Look at China. They don't care about any other person's language. So they learn in the language that is natural and organic to their society. So they're able to run with it. Look at how they've done with their lives, what they've done with their lives. Today, China is among the countries that have scaled poverty on its own and by its own devices, by its own doing, has scaled poverty to less than 10% of its population. And it has 1.4 billion people. So the issue is, how do you see yourself? And then how do you project that knowledge of yourself to the rest of the world? That is the perception, that's the narrative. Who is controlling it? Who is controlling you? What do you think of yourself? What are you thinking of yourself in relation to other people of the world? How do you want them to see you? They have created how they want us to see them. Are we creating how we want them to see us?
So if you mention that for a multi-ethnic group like Nigeria, a country like Nigeria, I think the debate will be, we're always fighting ourselves, and you've boiled down to the construct of what they want us to do and what we've accepted to do. So if you tell a Nigerian man now that we need to teach our people in local language, the first question that comes to mind is, we've got over 200 ethnic groups officially and over 500 unofficially. So which language will you prioritize? They'll bring that, I think, debate. What would you answer in that regard?
You see, the very fact that we have multiplicity of languages is not a minus. It's about you pushing and understanding. That understanding is, first, push citizenship, push your common humanity, because
nationalism.
Push nationalism. We started at some point. We were never as divided as we are now. What went wrong? At what point did I begin to think that the Esoko man, the Kanuri man,
they're different from me?
I'm different from them, they're different from me. But beyond being different, they are adversaries. At what point did I get to that point? What made it happen? What twisted?
Will you be able to take us through that? Maybe from your experience.
What twisted? I think what twisted was the twisted mind of the leadership. What twisted was twisted leadership. What twisted was leadership bereft of ideas, development ideas. So they looked for the low-hanging fruit.
True.
And the low-hanging fruit was also, how do I put it? An extraction from our colonial past. Because if the colonialists used that low-hanging fruit to get to where it got to, and he succeeded, and they became, pardon the use of this word, they became the dirty versions, the black versions of the colonialists. They knew no other method but divide and rule.
That's really sad. At what point does identity reporting becomes dangerous, especially in a country as diverse as Nigeria?
When it becomes stereotyping, when it becomes profiling, when you begin to denigrate other people, especially when you label people as on the basis of their ethnic
groups?
ethnic identity, you label them as being good, as being bad, only by function of belonging to that ethnic identity. That's when it gets bad. But the fact that I'm not sure that people that are corrupt in Nigeria are corrupt because they are Yoruba. Neither are they corrupt because they are Igbo or Kanuri or Ibibio or Biro or whatever other language. You said we have about, I did a study. We have over 1,150 dialects in Nigeria.
I think it will even be more than that. Because, for instance, in Kaduna, I'll tell you there are more than maybe 20 languages that I don't even know about as a person.
I'm talking about, you see, this language thing. But within those languages, there are dialectical differences.
Thank you.
Now, would you say that because this person is used, like take the Yoruba, the Yoruba ethnic nationality, ethnic group. There are people within the Yoruba collective that are not even considered Yoruba by Yoruba people.
Yes.
Look at the argument about the creation of an Ijebu state.
Yes.
Because the Ijebu people do not think that the Egba people are treating them well.
Well, yeah.
At what point did you get to the point where you do not only segregate, you do not only discriminate, you use it as weapons against one another.
And you know, it's been there all along.
So who is creating that? You asked about reporting.
Yes, yes.
How many of the journalists, the people within the media space, understand this fundamental, that how you frame or label a social group cascade to the perception of that group by the larger society.
True.
So the impact becomes very negative, very dangerous, very disruptive and destructive.
Just like the Fulani people being stereotyped.
Check the internet. I've done that severally. And I say I'm looking for the picture of a terrorist. The first picture you see is a man herding cattle.
Cows or cattle.
Why?
Stereotype.
Stereotype. We do that to one another, and it's dividing us, it's creating mistrust, and then we're heading to anarchy, because some people who are supposed to know better, to understand that coming from an ethnic group, I've always argued, substantially is social accident. You never chose to be there. Yes. Your mother, your father met, and somehow they got together. And then you were made. It's not your choice that you are from one particular ethnic group or the other. The socialization that has come with it is what has become very dangerous for us. And the media is not helping, because we're pushing that narrative.
Get to that. Do you think the media, both local and international, sometimes leans too much on identity as an explanation for complex problems?
I think not just only because they lean not because there are no alternative ways to look at issues within that emerge from time to time in society, but because it is the easiest way to
go out.
To go, because these things are already, there are constructs that are already on the table. You don't want to go the extra mile to contextualize whatever situation. No two situations are the same.
Of course.
You don't want to go the extra mile to contextualize these situations the way they are. And from that contextualization, which is different, every situation, no two situations are the same. Like the argument, a human being is a situational being. The Alima anchor that I'm sitting here with, right here, was not the same Alima that woke up this morning. May not be the same Alima that will go to bed later at night. Situations change you. Emotions come. Even negative emotions, anger, and the rest of them come. And it will change your perception of a person. Colors can even affect how you look at a person. There have been instances where we talk about transferred aggression. I look at a person and it reminds me of a teacher who was maltreating me 10 years ago. And I transfer the aggression unconsciously. So the media must be conscious of this, because the media, being part of the thinking segment of society, value-forming segment of society, must live above board. You cannot degenerate to the level other elements who do not mean society well beyond their self-interest. You cannot degenerate to that level.
Then let's be straight. When people say Nigeria has tribal problems, what are they missing?
They are missing the fact that that very thing you call tribal problem is artificial. Because for each problem you lace on any ethnic group, you find similar problem on every other ethnic group. If it's thievery, stealing, it's all over. If it's bad behavior, it's all over. So you are not bad because of your ethnicity. If you notice, I've refrained from using the word tribe. I will never use the word tribe in reference to any Nigerian. I will never. I will never do that. Yeah. Because we are not what the Oyinbo man wants us to think of ourselves. So. I am not a monkey. And I really would want Nigerians to begin to challenge those narratives. I recall some time ago, I had a paper to present outside the country. Outside the country. I had a paper to present on Africa in global picture. And you find that you look at all the pictures that you see about Africa, it's about tribalism from their own perspective. It's about ethnicity, ethnic clans. You have, we have so much of tribesman mentality as to portray us. We have disease, we have, not that we don't have those, but also not that they don't have those. You go to the inner circles of United States of America, you'll be horrified by the level of decay you see there. You go to the inner circles of any country in Europe, you'll be horrified by the level of decay you see there. But do they portray those?
Yeah, they don't. And social media is bringing all those things back to our faces. Yeah. How should responsible journalism report identity without inflaming division?
That's a very forward-looking question. One, know that when you stereotype, you've lost your credential to set agenda.
That's credibility.
Yes, you've lost not just, I mean, when you say you've lost yes, credibility is part of credentialing.
Okay.
You see, you've lost the platform, the basis on which you rest your authority to drive conversation, to drive discourse, to drive forward-looking, inclusive conversation for society. You've just lost that to those who are in control of, who have knowledge of media usage. And no journalist should surrender that, because once you surrender that, you lose your right to even belong to the media space. So the media, in order to avoid all of this, must understand that whatever frame you use, drive perception. A lot of the times I look at the newspapers and I see, I'll give you an example, Boko Haram commander. Not many journalists understand that terrorism is a weapon of the weak. Yeah. Terrorism is a weapon of the coward. Because a lot of the times, the man that engages in terror does not confront battle-ready formations. They look for combatants.
They look for soft targets.
They look for soft targets. They look for children. They look for women. They look for the aged. They look for groups that cannot readily fight back.
Or defend themselves.
Yes, these days we see them going to barracks, but those barracks are attacked at the point where they are most vulnerable. You don't engage when they're ready to engage back. Battle ready. So why should the journalists refer to a Boko Haram element as a commander? Commander is a lawful, legitimate title for a legitimate, lawful formation. So I will never refer to a Boko Haram
terrorist as
or an IPOB, whatever, or a bandit as a commander. They are criminals, they are criminals. They are killers, they are killers. They are murderers, they are murderers. Give them the name, because the thing is, the weapon of those elements, the biggest weapon they have is fear. So by the time you use the word commander, what comes to your mind is a man who is already built up
authoritative,
with authority, with a military ambience around him, with the military aura around him.
Oh my God.
So by the time you're using that, and the journalist consistently uses that, you make the people fear them, because naturally, it's an organic thing. People try to stay away from those who have military advantage over them. Besides, the state is the state only because it controls repressive the apparatus for violence. I hope you know that.
Yes.
The state ceases to be a state.
That's why we call the president commander-in-chief.
Good. The state ceases to be a state where it has lost grip of the apparatus of violence, the judiciary, the police, the prisons, the military. All these are apparatus of violence, of repression. Once you lose that, you cease to be a state. So when the state begins to share that space with non-state actors, and then you call those non-state actors as a perception builder, a commander, you're ceding that authority to them. And then you, by the structure of modern society, you're supposed to hold the state in reverence and fear. Now you cede that space to a non-state actor. What are you doing as a journalist?
You've given them the power.
You've given them the power. Because what they're using as the oxygen is fear. The more you make people afraid of them, the stronger they are. And then when you give them, you amplify their capacity.
That's it.
You're giving them oxygen.
Yes.
You're giving them tonic.
That's the situation that we're in.
That's the situation we're in. And I think the media space, the entire ecosystem, should begin to understand that you can make a difference. You can turn. Again, I don't use the word turn the table. You can shift the chair in a way that it becomes. We the people, the nation,
become powerful
and be at an advantage
over them. Let's quickly go on to, in one sentence, should truth come before tribe, or can both coexist responsibly? Truth before tribe.
Truth can never go together with tribe. Again, you're forcing me to use the word tribe, because truth stands on its own, and truth is absolute. There's no half-truth. It's either you go for it or you don't have it at all. So we need to begin to tell ourselves the truth. My enemy is not the Igbo man. Neither am I an enemy to the Hausa man. My enemy is not the Yoruba man. My enemy is not the Efik man or the Ibibio man. No. I mean, when it comes to election, no ballot card will say this man is voting, this is an Igbo vote, this is Yoruba vote, they don't care about that. They just care about the summation of the numbers. That's all. Nobody talks about, when I go into the market and I want to buy tomatoes, for instance, they don't say, I'm going to collect this money from you because this is Yoruba money, or this is Yoruba tomato. I'm buying it because I need to keep myself going. I need feeding. I need food. So we need to become, so in terms of whether truth should go together with
tribe,
then they cannot cohabit.
Thank you.
It's either going to be you stick with the truth
or just not do anything.
Because tribe doesn't even need to come in. That's why I'm even surprised that we went back to this thing that was foisted on us way back, our national anthem, though tribe and tongue may differ. Why are we amplifying something that denigrates?
It's Nigeria. Probably someone will come and change that again.
I hope so.
That's the thing, because I believe that the previous national anthem has been there for a while. So why the change? People make point for just to take the colonial part of whatever was.
It's also wrong. It's also wrong. Even that anthem was not even coined by Nigerians. I hope you know that.
Yes, I know about that.
So Nigeria and Nigerians had nothing
to do with
that national.
We'll get to that. I'm sure that this discussion would continue. Stay with us. When we return, we move from identity to perception. Why is Africa so seen through outdated lenses, and what is the real cost of that narrative? Stay with us. We'll be right back.